Hi, and welcome to Best in Tesla News, episode 147. Yes, I am at the biggest electric vehicle expo in Northern Europe here in Göteborg. So I'm checking out all the cool new things, all EV. So stay tuned for that. But we do have a lot of great news from this week we have to dive into. So let's check it all out and let's dive right in.
Let's put our living stereo stylus in this groove.
So, as you can see, I am on the road, so the new show is going to be a little bit different, so bear with me. But we have some awesome news this week, as we had a very important moment in history. They said it couldn't be done, so Tesla just did it. They held their Tesla semi-truck delivery event.
So, some people out there say it can't be done. I don't know who might say that, but I've heard rumors. So we just did it. Yeah.
The beast that has 3 times the power of a normal diesel truck is finally here. The Tesla semi-truck. 3 plaid motors, each with more power than a normal diesel truck. As Tesla showed, it accelerated up a 6% incline, overtaking an old outdated diesel truck that looked like it was standing still compared to Tesla's semi-truck. And the semi-truck was carrying a combined weight of 81,000 pounds. But it doesn't use all 3 motors all the time. One is always running, making it a very efficient truck. But if you put your foot down, all 3 motors will turn on completely seamlessly. And it can go downhill and have cool brakes at the bottom, as it just uses regenerated braking. So drivers don't have to worry about overheating brakes and hitting the right gear. So it is a much easier truck to drive and much safer than a normal truck, as it will also prevent jackknifing and all the other safety features that comes with this truck. And they talked about that 500-mile test drive they did in real life with 81,000 pounds, and showed the speed-up version of the video that recorded all of this drive that will be posted on YouTube in its full length, 8 hours. So all the haters can see this really happened. And it can do 1,000 plus kilowatts of charging, or 1 megawatt of charging. And as I speculated 2 years ago in my video about the Cybertruck's insane charging speed, the Cybertruck will be able to do that as well. Because as Elon said at the reveal of the semi-truck, they were also going to build a smaller version to make a pickup truck version of the semi-truck. And at the Cybertruck reveal, they didn't want to say what the charging speed were, and just said it can do 250 plus kilowatts of charging. And Elon did say that Porsche's 350 kilowatts charging was child's toy. So everything was pointing to that the Cybertruck would have some kind of charging capabilities like the semi-truck. And we are talking about 1,000 kilowatts of charging, and GM thought they had fast charging with 350 kilowatts for their pickup truck. That will be a children's toy compared to what Tesla is coming with. Cybertruck will be up and beyond anything else out there. And this technology will come to Tesla's normal superchargers as well, as we talked about in last week's news show and Elon revealed on stage. So this is absolutely amazing. And as always, Tesla might be late, also because of worldwide pandemic and semiconductor shortage and battery shortage and much more. But as always, they deliver what they promised. Wonder what the critics have to say now about the truck that they said was fake. Like Gordon Johnson, that as early as a couple of weeks ago said the semi-truck will never be delivered because the physics didn't make sense. Oh boy, were these guys and haters wrong. As Elon said, they all said it couldn't be done, so we just did it. So, your move, Daimler. With your little semi-toy electric truck that can do half the range and half the charging speed is just half the truck that the semi-truck is. And the semi-truck is just 3 times more truck than a diesel truck will ever be. And it will save your company about $200,000 in fuel saving in 3 years. This semi-truck is the biggest no-brainer the world has ever seen. I think the only other company to be this much in front of everyone else must be SpaceX and their reusable rocket that puts like 80% of all cargo into space. Yeah, good luck even trying to copy the Tesla semi-beast. Daimler, as you said 5 years ago, if it was real, you had to buy one, tear it apart and check it out, because Tesla clearly knew something that you didn't, as you put it, because they didn't believe the specs. So I guess you have to get in line, together with all the other trucking companies that now are going to want a Tesla semi-truck. The truck to rule them all. And let's just take 1 minute break to get a quick word from today's sponsor, Blinkist. I have talked about them before, so I assume you know what Blinkist is. They take a whole book and take all the key takeaways and put them down into these 10 to 15 minutes blinks. But Blinkist also got some new cool features like Blinkist Connect. It allows every Blinkist premium plan to be shared by 2 different accounts, so you can discuss and share blinks with your friend at no additional cost to you, and it is free for the person you invite as long as you are sharing it with them. So that is very cool. So you will get a 2 for the price of 1 here. And Blinkist has over 5,500 non-fiction titles to choose from. So it is not a bad idea to have someone to share it with, so you can help each other out finding new great titles to go through. Like, I would really like to recommend everyone to read the book called Breathe, The New Science of a Lost Art. Some of you might know I'm a former elite freediver, so this is just right down my alley, and I have actually read the whole book, and you can also find it as an audiobook. But it is more than 7 hours long, so it takes quite a time to go through. But Blinkist had actually managed to get all of this knowledge down to a blink of only 26 minutes, and you can actually easily hear this one at 1.25 speed, making it only a 20-minute listen, and you'll get all the great knowledge and benefits of learning how to breathe correctly. I can highly recommend everyone give this Blink a listen. That is definitely the book I would share with you if you were on my Blinkist Connect list. But no matter what your interest is, Blinkist has something for you, and you can now get access to all of this knowledge at a great discount. Just click the link below or scan this QR code to start your 7-day free trial and get 25% off a premium membership. So go nuts, my friend, and enjoy the power of big knowledge in a small package. And we had some great news about Tesla this week that might be tipping the discussion on demand issue in China to Tesla's favor. In last week's news show, I talked about the discussion about Tesla's demand in China. Some think they will not be able to sell all the cars they produce in December into the Chinese market, and therefore will have more cars in transit, as normally Tesla don't really export many cars in the last month of the quarter in China. But last week it was still looking pretty good, and Tesla could be heading towards a 50,000 units sold in November, beating their old record of about 34,000 units. But they even got higher than that, as we got some more data this week about how many Teslas was insured in the week 4 of November. Tesla China delivered 16,121 domestic vehicle in the 4th week of November for a total of 55,612 units for the first 27 days of November. So, as Matthias showed on Twitter, the trend is still only going up. It does not look like Tesla's sales are slowing down, and with 3 days still remaining. The expectation is that Tesla will end November up with something like 59,000 units sold in November. So when we look into the second month of a quarter, we can see that Tesla's November is really standing out, beating their old record with about 71%. And as we can see here on this chart as well, also beating last November by 85%. So Tesla is still doing very, very well and doesn't seem to have any issues with demand. So it will be very exciting to keep an eye on the next couple of weeks going into December and see what happens. No more ships from Shanghai have turned up on the carrier tracker. The one that we see in Shanghai is the one coming from the US arriving in Shanghai. So no new ships are ready to leave Shanghai just yet. So it still looks very good with strong demand and high production numbers. So Q4 should be the epic quarter that Elon has been talking about. Because we are also seeing records here in Europe as well. Firstly, the Berlin factory should have been producing 550 Model Ys in a day last week according to Drive Tesla. And with a 6-day work week, that is 3,300 units per week. I had my prediction set to about 3,700 for last week with my linear ramp, so only off by a week or so. We have been hearing rumors about this third shift on and off for the last couple of months, but now we hear Elon has been talking with the guys in Berlin and will start the long-awaited third shift in mid-January. So we might not be seeing the 5,000 units per week this year. If the ramp continues to increase as we have seen for the last 7 weeks, from when they hit the 2,000 per week back in week 40, we should end off with week 52 with something like maybe 4,300 units. So pretty close if the ramp continues. Not sure if they need the third shift to get to 5,000 per week or they can do that without it. But we have to wait and see. And the third shift will give Tesla 24 hours production and should easily get the factory up to the goal of 5,000 per week. But maybe not quite there before the calendar rolls into 2023. So maybe a week or two off, but going to be very exciting to see how the ramp in Berlin will go for the last month of this year. But they are producing very well and getting some of the Model Ys out to eagerly waiting customers, like we see in Norway that had their second best day so far here in 2022, and 76% of those vehicles were Model Ys from Berlin. So far in Q4, Norway has pretty much only got the Model Y delivered, as the Model 3 is coming on boats from China, so we should see those numbers coming in at the end of the year as well. So Tesla is still on track to become the best-selling EV brand in Europe in 2022, as they were in 2021. But last year, Tesla was behind Volkswagen all year, but overtook them only just at the end. But this year, Tesla has been out in front the whole year, and Volkswagen don't seem to be able to catch up. Tesla has the best-selling model, the Model Y, and the Model 3 is the second best-selling, as we also have to count some of the unknown Tesla's models from the UK, where we don't get the models but only the amount of total vehicles sold by brand. So the first and second best-selling EV in Europe is the Model Y and the Model 3, and I don't expect that to change. And if we look at some of the two biggest markets in Europe, well, in Germany, Tesla is still leading the race, and in the UK, Tesla is just so dominating, it is frightening. We have to look at the automotive groups to find some competition here that can match Tesla as a brand. And even here Tesla is at the top, neck and neck with the Volkswagen Group. So Tesla is still looking very, very strong in Europe, and Tesla is reportedly planning a massive output of 75,000 Model Ys out of the Giga Texas in Q1 of 2023. That would be an average of 5,836 units per week in Q1. That would be more than what I'm predicting, and seems to be able to overtake Berlin already in Q1 next year if this is the case. But of course, with the third shift in Berlin, we should also see some good numbers in Q1 from Berlin as well. But the ramp seems to be going very, very good and pretty close to the prediction, maybe 2 to 3 weeks behind. And we see some great examples of the future grid that is changing together with the electric car, that is so much better and diversified and will save people money. More than 2,000 households in South Australia has been giving a $55 credit on their bill from Tesla after their Powerwall battery helped keep the lights on earlier this month after a big storm caused major damage to the electrical grid. As Tesla wrote to their customers in the app, we would like to thank you by providing an additional bill credit of $55 for each Powerwall you own. This bill credit will be applied to your Tesla Energy Plan account. There are over 4,000 Powerwalls in South Australia, but not all of them are on Tesla's Energy Plan and part of the virtual power plant. But I also think a very cool thing about this is that the grid went down, but it was not only Tesla's virtual power plant that saved the day, it was a collaboration of many. Most of the response came from the original big Tesla battery, the Hornsdale Power Plant Reserve, that we have talked about many times before, but also from the Dalrymple North battery and the Tesla virtual power plant, as I just showed, and also one run by AGL. So a very good showcase of the future grid where we don't just have one big power plant we rely on, but we have many smaller battery pico plants in the communities. Every household in the community has its own batteries, turning it into a very little power plant, and thanks to great software, combining all of these small power plants, turning them into a much bigger community virtual power plant. So awesome to see this, and I hope people will see this and realize we are not just jumping over to the electric car and leaving the grid hanging. We are reinventing what the grid even is and how it's used. And let's get our monthly update about Tesla's giga factories. That means handing it over to Brian from My Tesla Weekend. Take it away, Brian.
Hey Lars, well in Shanghai it's pretty quiet because as you can see the footprint of the site is mostly filled out and mostly everything is built. The only real news going on over there is that the little bridge that they're building on the southwest side across the water canal there, it's underway finally after a very long time waiting. In Berlin, the Stamping Cathedral is getting a big extension. You can see a lot more foundation and footing work going on. In the southwest, there's a lot of parking rework over in a bunch of different places. Because if there's one thing Tesla loves to do, it's tear up pavement and put in new pavement. The road widening at the south of the site is moving along, if a bit slowly. There's a shuttle train coming for employees. They're working on putting in the line for it now. There's also a new water tank here over by the retention ponds. Pretty interesting. And the big news is the massive clearing to the north of the site. Yeah, they cleared out a lot of trees in anticipation of the construction of the next phase of Giga Berlin. In Texas, boy do we have a lot to cover. There's rework at the north end on the walkways. There's rework of the concrete apron on the east side, both here and a little further down here. There's new material going in the Stamping Cathedral. This will be in support of more Model Y lines and probably also some of the Cybertruck components. The south parking lot is almost completely torn up. We believe a building is going to go in here, and I've been asked what that will be, and the answer is additional capacity. The west entrance has been torn up and reworked quite a bit, and it will be reworked some more. The HVAC over the battery area is clearly operational, and the cathode building has been mostly closed off. That suggests an imminent begin to some form of production on the inside, since we've seen so much of the interior work already get underway. That building is expanding a little bit to the west, and they're putting in an additional building next to it. Not sure for what, might just be a receiving building. The switchyard is moving along nicely. It's expanding quite a bit. And the rooftop solar, inching along as always, but it's a very, very big area to cover. So what are you going to do? So that's it. Back to you, Lars.
Thank you so much for that update, Brian. And if you're not following Brian over on his channel, My Tesla Weekend, well, you are definitely missing out. And Brian, see you next month. No, wait, actually, see you next year. And I squeeze in the last short news topics into this news show.
Yes, it's time for the Tesla Shorts.
And Neuralink did hold their show and tell event, where they showed off their new version of the Neuralink and showed off a monkey writing on a computer with its brain. It can of course not spell, but just push the button that lighted up with its brain. And Elon wrote on Twitter afterwards, "We are now confident that the Neuralink device is ready for humans. So timing is a function of working through the FDA approval process." As he also said at the event, they expect to do a human trial in about 6 months from now. So in mid-2023, pretty amazing how much process we are seeing from this little company. And France, Tesla's chief designer, made an interview on CNBC, nothing groundbreaking, but he did say that his favorite design is some of the cars that is yet to come that he could not talk about. So he talked about the Cybertruck and how that car was designed with function in mind, and that is why it looks like it does, as we had talked about many times before. But that the design he's most excited about is something that we don't know about yet, so that is very exciting though. And BMW patents a suspension design that can charge an EV battery just like regenerative braking. According to CarBus, a new patent file with the German patent office shows BMW is designing a new suspension system capable of harnessing energy from the EV's wheels movements as it absorbs the shocks from the bumping up and down. That is actually a very cool idea. Every little thing helps. And Tesla is reportedly developing a revamped version of the Model 3, according to 4 people with knowledge of the effort, aiming to cut the production cost and boost the appeal of the 5-year-old electric sedan. One focus of the redesigned codename Highland is to reduce the numbers of components and complexity in the interior of the Model 3 while focusing on features that the Tesla buyer values, including the display, Reuters said. Yes, of course, something Tesla works on every single day. But the Tesla Giga Shanghai factory should be the one starting to put this redesigned Model 3 into production in the 3rd quarter of 2023, but this is, of course, all still just rumors. And Tesla is offering a $3,750 discount in the US for people that wants to buy a new Model 3 Y from Tesla's inventory if people take delivery by the end of this year. So making sure they get all their inventory sold by the end of this year. And Honda announced that they will begin US production of a fuel cell electric vehicle in 2024. Oh no, Honda, please look at the numbers. Hydrogen cars in California, the only place you would ever buy one in the US, because that's pretty much the only place where there are hydrogen fuel stations. Their sales are down compared to last year. They sold 153 units of all car companies combined for all of Q3 in California. It is already dying, and you are going to waste a lot of money and time building this car in 2024. Sorry guys, but this is just too late. You are beating a dead horse. But hey, they are planning to go 100% electrified by 2040. So yeah, they are just late on everything, not just the hydrogen car. And stay tuned for Monroe Live, as they're going to interview Joe Justice in a couple of weeks. Now that's going to be very exciting to see these two experts with both their unique perspective on Tesla joining forces. Can't wait to see that one. And as most people might know, most companies in European countries have pulled their production and business out of Russia to show their support for Ukraine. And the companies that did not pull out, like a few here in Denmark, will see their sales drop out of the sky as people don't want to buy their products anymore. But there is, of course, one European automaker that has not pulled out their production of Russia. Can you guess who? Yes, of course, Volkswagen. And Elon is really not kidding around when it comes to truth. As Elon wrote on Twitter, the Twitter files on free speech suppression soon to be published on Twitter itself. The public deserve to know what really happened. Yes, I think many are now scared that the truth will be put under a light for everyone to see. We have seen Toyota's BZ4X getting some hate as the test of the car did not live up to the claimed range, and now we have the Danish car organization FDM testing it out in a little bit colder weather with about 4 degrees Celsius, and the car's range dropped a whopping 51 and 53% range from its estimated VLTP range. Very disappointing, as FDM is saying. And as I said before, BZ4X is the worst EV launch in history, and it's not even an affordable car. It only costs about $6,000 less than the Model Y or $3,000 less than the Model 3. So $53,000 for the Toyota BZ4X or $56,000 for the Tesla Model 3. So do you want to save $3,000 or $6,000 to get one of the worst performing EVs in history, or pay $3,000 to $6,000 more to get the golden standard for an EV? I know which one I would pick. And the Ford Mach-E reached 150,000 units produced. Congratulations to Ford on this achievement. But again, a very good showcase of how difficult it is for the old guys compared to Tesla to ramp up production. That is 150,000 units produced in pretty much 2 full years. They started deliveries back in December of 2020. And I expect Tesla Berlin to get above 350,000 units next year. So in less time than the Ford got to 150,000 cumulated production, Tesla will get above 400,000 units in less time. Very impressive. And a very cool EV, the Kia EV6, will now get a nice performance boost with the GT version that has drift modes and all kind of great stuff, and will do a 0 to 100 kilometers in just 3.5 seconds and a top speed of 260 kilometers an hour, and will still have about 265 miles of range, so not bad at all. It will start at about $75,000, so not really a cheap car, but this is probably the best car Kia has ever made. So very nice. And Idra has announced on LinkedIn that the brand new Giga press is currently being assembled. I can only imagine that is for Tesla. And following a flawless Sunday launch, the SpaceX Cargo Dragon spacecraft successfully docked with the International Space Station on Sunday morning, delivering several tons of supply and the second set of upgrade solar arrays for the orbital outpost. Nice. And GM's crews made quite the fuss this week, as 3 of them stopped working at pretty much the same place, making quite the traffic jam. Yeah, they still have quite a long way to go there, and don't really seem to be accelerating their capabilities. But I think Curry from Monroe said it best what is happening, like we saw with Ford and Volkswagen throwing in the towel in the full self-driving car with their joint venture Argo. Tesla is so far ahead, the others are just giving up, because this might also be why we haven't seen any Cadillac lyrics out just yet. Take a listen to this from Fassad's video.
I think what's important for people to realize about FSD beta is, I think Tesla's lead is so great that many of the other OEMs, I think, are giving up. Ford just
That's all I want to hear.
Yeah. And I can't say who, but I live in Detroit, so I have lunches with friends, and I've ran into 2 or 3 people from GM, and I'm like, hey, where's my lyric? And they've intimated that it's because the Super Cruise or the Ultra Cruise just isn't working right yet, you know, and they can't build them and they can't get it to work. And I'm not going to name names, but these are people who would know. And, you know, it's kind of embarrassing that you have these multi-billion-dollar organizations that are this far behind.
And as I said last week, don't forget to check out my Christmas calendar that I am re-uploading from 2 years ago, called Funny Moments with Elon Musk. I just thought we could all use a little laughter at the end of this crazy year, and I hope this will make you smile during Christmas. And as I showed in the beginning of this new show, I was at the Electric Vehicle Expo in Göteborg this Friday, so stay tuned for videos about all the cool stuff from that event coming soon, as I have pretty much tried sitting in every EV available in Europe today. Okay, not quite that many, but I sat in a lot of cars. And no wonder there was a lot of people at the expo, as Sweden's EV adoption is speeding up. Fully electric vehicle sales reached 42.5% in November from 26% just 1 year ago. And the plug-in were 64.6%. Yeah, not much left for the fossil fuel. Yes, it has been a crazy week, and especially for Elon Musk, as Herbert wrote on Twitter. Met with the EU official regarding Digital Service Act involvement of Twitter, meet and negotiated with Tim Cook at Apple, presented Neuralink event, presented the Tesla semi-truck event. Yeah, there is no one like Elon Musk and his companies. And if you want to learn even more about them, or if you think you know everything there is to know about them, I dare you to buy my new book, The Elon Musk Mission. I will bet you will find a lot of stuff you didn't know. Link to the book down below. And let's end off with a bit of fun. The life of the Tesla investors. Optimist, half full. Pessimist, half empty. 2022, it's P, isn't it? That is all we have time for in this new show. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, don't forget to hit that like button. It really helps this video out a lot. And if you did like it, maybe you want to consider hitting that subscribe button, notification bell, so you don't miss out on future videos just like this one. If you are already a subscriber, thank you so much for your support, and if you want to support the channel even more, remember you can, for as little as $1, become a patron of this channel and get your shout out on this show. You can also become a member of the YouTube channel to get a shout out and some extra perks. Hit the members button to find out more. And don't forget to follow me on Twitter. I tweet all the news as it comes out and more. And check out the merch store to get some merchandise and support the show. Now it's also possible to support the show without buying anything, becoming a member or a patron. There is a link to a donation options in the show notes. And also as simple as hitting the super like button. But going forward, I will be making more videos for patrons and members only. And I will give my YouTube members and patrons early access to my videos whenever possible, and make my videos ads free for members and patrons only. So don't miss out.
And thank you for watching. And until next time, take care out there and be nice.